The crystalline chamber stretched beyond comprehension, its translucent walls pulsing with ethereal light that seemed to emanate from the very fabric of space itself. Commander Sarah Chen stood in the center of the vast amphitheater, her worn, combat boots, the only sound echoing in the oppressive silence. Around her, arranged in concentric circles that spiraled upward into infinity, sat the Galactic Tribunal, representatives of every major civilization that had achieved interstellar travel. The Zephyrians floated like living storms, their gaseous forms crackling with electrical discharge. The crystalline Vorthak sang in harmonious frequencies that made the air itself vibrate. Insectoid cricks clicked and chittered in their mechanical precision, while the amorphous Geln shifted between liquid and solid states with each thought. Above them all, the ancient architects observed through their constructs of pure energy, beings so old they had witnessed the birth of galaxies. Sarah had expected this moment for 3 years, ever since humanity's first contact had gone catastrophically wrong. Earth's aggressive expansion, their wars, their refusal to submit to galactic authority, it had all led to this, the trial of the human species. "Behold!" thundered the Prime Arbiter, a towering Vorthak, whose crystal body reflected the light of 1,000 stars, the representatives of the species that calls itself human. They stand accused of 37 counts of galactic law violation, including unauthorized colonization, refusal to surrender weapons of mass destruction, and the gravest offense, conducting warfare upon member species. Murmurs rippled through the assembly like a wave. The translator implant in Sarah's ear converted the cacophony into recognizable derision. They were laughing at her. At humanity. This primitive species, continued a Crix delegate, its mandibles clicking with amusement, emerged from their gravity, well mere decades ago, and immediately began claiming territory that belonged to established civilizations. They are violent, unreasonable, and wholly unsuited for galactic society. Sarah remained silent, as she had been instructed. Her military training kept her spine straight and her expression neutral, even as the aliens dissected her species like specimens under a microscope. "They wage war upon each other with nuclear weapons," added a Geln representative, its voice bubbling like molten metal. "They poison their own atmosphere. They consume resources at unsustainable rates. What possible contribution could such a destructive species make to our peaceful galaxy?" The laughter grew louder. Sarah caught fragments of commentary. Barely evolved primates, probably still throwing feces, should be quarantined to their home system. However, the Prime Arbiter's voice cut through the mockery. "Galactic. Law requires that every species be given the opportunity to present their case. Human Commander Chen, you may speak on behalf of your kind. Choose your words carefully. They may be the last your species ever utters as free beings." Sarah stepped forward, her heart hammering against her ribs. She had rehearsed this moment. Countless times prepared elaborate arguments about human achievements, their potential, their capacity for growth. But standing here, surrounded by beings who had mastered technologies humanity couldn't even comprehend, those words felt hollow. The amphitheater fell silent, waiting. Sarah looked up at the assembled civilizations, species that had conquered. Death transcended their physical forms, built structures that spanned solar systems. What could she possibly say that would matter to beings like these? And then she remembered a conversation with her daughter before leaving Earth. Lucy had asked her what she was most afraid of. Sarah had expected to say death or failure or the destruction of humanity, but the answer that came out was simpler. I'm afraid of becoming someone who stops trying to do better. Sarah took a deep breath and spoke a single word. Yes. The silence that followed was profound. Even the constant background hum of the Tribunal's technology seemed to pause. Yes, the Prime Arbiter asked, confusion evident even through the crystalline being's emotionless voice. Yes to what, human? Sarah's voice grew stronger. Yes, we are violent. Yes, we wage war. Yes, we've made terrible mistakes. She turned slowly, addressing each section of the amphitheater. Yes, we pollute our world and fight over resources and sometimes act like the barely evolved primates you think we are. The mockery had stopped. Thousands of alien eyes, sensors, and consciousness constructs focused on her with sudden intensity. But here's what you don't understand about humans, Sarah continued, her voice carrying in the crystal chamber. We know we're broken. We've always known. And instead of accepting it, instead of making peace with our nature like you have, we keep trying to be better. She gestured to the magnificent beings around her. You've achieved perfection in your own ways. The Vorthak live in harmony with the universe. The Krix have eliminated inefficiency. The Geln have transcended individual ego. You've solved the puzzles of existence. Her voice dropped to almost a whisper, but the chamber's acoustics carried it to every corner. But we haven't. Every single day, billions of humans wake up and choose to try again, to be kinder than they were yesterday, to build something better for their children, to reach for stars they can't even see yet. Sarah's eyes found the energy construct of an architect. You see our wars and call us primitive, but every peace treaty we've ever signed was written by someone who chose hope over fear. You see our pollution and call us destructive, but every environmental law was passed by someone who decided the future mattered more than profit. The amphitheater was absolutely still. You've forgotten something, Sarah said quietly. The journey matters more than the destination. You've become perfect, static, finished, but we're still becoming, and that is our contribution to your galaxy. Not our achievements, but our refusal to stop achieving. Not our perfection, but our determination to keep growing. She stood straighter, addressing the Prime Arbiter directly. So yes, we are everything you say we are. But we're also the species that looked at our own worst nature and declared war on it. We're the species that fails and gets up and fails and gets up and never, ever stops trying to be worthy of the stars. The silence stretched for long minutes. Then, impossibly, the ancient architect spoke, the first time in living memory that one had addressed a tribunal directly. Motion to dismiss all charges, the being of pure energy said, its voice like the whisper of solar wind. This species has reminded us of something we had forgotten, that becoming is more beautiful than being. One by one, every civilization, in the tribunal voted to dismiss. Humanity was free to continue its journey to the stars, and in the crystal chamber, for the first time in eons, the sound of hope echoed through infinity.